Yeah, so my name's Andrew Tudor House. I do a lot of different things really. So my main thing is I do ghost tours, tactical ghost tours around the south, and I also work as a wrestler and also work full time as well in learning and development. So quite a mixed bag really.
Can you tell me about how supernatural tours and events came to be and like what that story is kind of from the ground up?
Yeah, so it started nearly 16 years ago, so quite a long time ago. I was always interested in the paranormal as a kid, so spent a lot of time watching TV shows, reading books, that kind of thing. And then when I was in my teens, I thought, well, let's give it a go. Let's try and go out and look for ghosts myself. And I used to go to a lot of haunted places looking for ghosts. And it kind of advanced really, so it went from kind of just doing private venues with a few of us. People started to get to know what we were doing. And as time went on, we started to get people asking us to do public events. And then about 10 or so years ago, I said to our colleagues, why don't we just try doing a ghost tour? Just a ghost tour, historical ghost tour in one of the cities that we do now. And we thought, would it be popular? Because in London, hugely popular, New York, hugely popular, would Southampton and Winchester have the same appeal? It's fair to say it definitely has. Because over the years it's become more and more popular, and we've kind of gone from historical ghost tour where there was no costumes to me randomly saying one day, why don't we try it with costumes? And I must admit, when I first said it, the response I got was pretty much like drop drawers, like, what? You really want to give this a go? I was like, yeah, let's do it. And it's kind of gone from strength to strength really. So it's kind of built up over time purely through, I guess, the popularity of what we're doing, because it is unique and different in the market, but because I think everybody to a certain degree is interested in ghosts, whether they believe or don't believe.
Do you have an acting background or anything?
Not at all. I used to work in radio many years ago as a radio presenter, but that's about as far as it goes. And when I was at school, I was like the quietest person ever. I didn't really speak to anybody. I was so quiet. And even now today, I get people who come on the tours I went to school with, and they're like, are you the same person? Yeah, I'm the same person. But they don't believe it because I'm so different to how I was back at school. I just kind of thought, let's do it and go for it. But no, I haven't no acting experience at all before doing these.
Do you like to perform? Because wrestling is also kind of a sense of performing. So
yeah, it is. And I think everybody to a certain degree is probably a little bit nervous. I think that's the right way to be. I'm always the first ghost, as it were, to come out on the ghost tours, and to a degree always behind there thinking, how are they going to react to you? Are they going to think, what's going on? Are you going to scare them? So you do get a little bit nervous, but I think when you start doing it, you kind of almost, I like it if they're having a good time. Yeah, I like performing, but I perform because I want them to have a good time. So it's never been about myself as such, but yeah, I love it. I just love being around people. I love getting to know people and just, getting out there and doing something.
wow. And you have quite a media presence. Like you have a
Oh, do we?
website.
We
Did
do.
you make the website yourself, or was you
Kind of. It was me and my colleague James do the website. So he does all the images, I do all the writing parts of it, and then we kind of just collaborate together really.
Would you say it's definitely more of like a passion project than a way to make money?
Yeah, I think if you're going to, maybe be in London, you might do it every night and you might make a bit of money out of it. To be honest, most people who do this job do it for the passion. For me, it's never been about the money side of it. For me, it is really about, one, tourism. I want people to know a bit more about our history because we've got so much of it here. People forget about. When we get people coming on the tours who live in that city and they go, we didn't even know it was there. So I've been here 25 years or whatever. So for us, it's always been about doing it because we enjoy doing it. That's I guess one thing that's got us over with a lot of people is that they like the fact that we do it and that we enjoy doing it.
Not super common, and so I'm curious about the supernatural hunts, because you do like official hunts too. So
the ghost hunts.
like what is that process? And
So yeah, it's again, one of those things that always interested me. So when I was very young, a long time ago, I as a kid started going to haunted places that were just open to the public, just during the day, have a little look, see if I could see anything. But I want to take that step a little bit further, because for me, although I do believe there's something out there, I want to see the proof. I want to see what causes these things to happen. Why do we see ghosts? If they don't exist, why do people say they do, and so forth. So I contacted a place in Southampton called Tudor House, which was a place I visited many times as a kid, just as a museum. And I always had a bit of a fascination with it. And I thought, would the council say yeah? Probably not, but they did. They said yeah. I said yeah, let's do it. So I spent a lot of time in there when it was closed to the public, when they were doing it up, just looking for the ghosts, and yeah, it kind of went from there really, from going from here to Australia, doing a bit there as well, yeah, all over the place really.
Australia?
I went to Australia, yeah, very different perception of the paranormal over there.
For ghost hunts specifically?
Yeah, I think, you know, we were talking earlier before, weren't we, about the fact that when you come to the UK, the one thing that strikes people is the amount of history we got here. So when people come here from, you know, America or Australia, they're like, okay, our oldest building's like 200 years old or whatever, ours are thousands. And there's like, wow, they're really astounded by that. So when you go abroad and you do this, a lot of the people are like, so you've got really old castles over in England, haven't you? Yeah, we've got really old castles. And they're oldest places like, I don't know, like a town hall or something. So I think UK in particular, although it's a big worldwide thing now, isn't it, the paranormal? I think in particular, the UK is kind of like, I guess, like the epicenter of all things paranormal to a degree. Because of the history, yeah, probably because of the history.
Who were you as a kid, and what was that like? Can you talk a little bit about that
very quiet.
Can you talk about that supernatural experience that you said?
Yeah,
yeah.
So as a child, I mentioned before, was very quiet. I was very, I don't know whether it was nervous, or I definitely wasn't the outgoing person I am now. Very, very quiet. I suspect most people who went to school with me probably didn't even realise I was there, because I was that quiet. Ironically, I didn't like doing sports either. And now I do wrestling, I do gym and stuff like that. I was completely opposite to how I am now. I knew I always wanted to do some sort of performance, but I never had the courage or like the bravery to do it, to be honest. It was almost like I wanted to do it, but something was holding me back. What that was, I don't know, to be honest. I kind of got to an age where I thought, do you know what, I could always be very quiet, but then will I ever achieve what I want to achieve in life? And I probably wouldn't. So I made that leap to just go out there and do something different. So I started investing into radio, did a lot of DJ work and radio work, and the paranormal came along just because of something I was always interested in. I just remember my mum and dad had a bookshelf at the top of their stairs, and one of them was a really quite well-known book, which was about ghosts. And I thought, that was pretty interesting, I like a little scare or two. So I had a little read through it, and from then I just kind of got hooked by it, thinking, okay, so why do people see ghosts? What's causing this? And I started watching loads of TV programs, reading loads of books, looking on the internet when I got to the age where I had to do that, you know, all that kind of stuff, just because I was so fascinated by it. It's just something, because I suppose you can't explain it. I don't know what causes ghosts. No one's ever going to know that, probably in our lifetime. But just that intrigue behind it, and makes you want to look into it even more.
Were there any specific like supernatural experiences that you were just like I don't know, that like made you think differently? Or?
Yeah, so many, to be honest. There's loads, and I'm always very skeptical to a degree. I do believe that there's something out there. But you know what it's like, if I told you 100 stories, a lot of people are going to be thinking, well, you didn't see that. Because unless you see it for yourself or experience it for yourself, it doesn't really validate anything for the average person. One in particular was the place I mentioned earlier, Tudor House. I went there one night. Tell us in the ghost stories, one of our ghost stories as well. And I was in the cellar, and they gave me the keys to the place. So I knew no one else could possibly be in there. And me and my colleague were in the cellar, which is a vault. So we're talking medieval times, really, really old. And we both saw what looked like somebody walk through the room. And I was like, okay, my first instinct was, what naturally caused that? Because that's, I think, how you should always think when you're doing this. What are the plausible reasons? Other than us both we both saw it at the same time, which is, one, very interesting. Other than us both exaggerating the same thing, maybe there was something there, or maybe it was a shadow, I don't know, but there was certainly something there that made me think, actually, do you know what? There's really something to this.
So you're going to do something here?
Yeah, so this will be the start of our Portsmouth Ghost Tours in the end. So the customers will come and meet here. They'll let us have a room to get changed in, which is much better than doing it in freezing cold.
Do you do it outside?
We have done, yeah. We used to use the Dolphin up the road, but where he used to work. But obviously he's moved on, whatever. But yeah, so we move in here. But we do murder mysteries as well. They want to do that as well. So that's going to be here, and then we use the Dolphin in Southampton. But much easier now, because we used to use the Dolphin in Portsmouth and the Dolphin in Southampton. They're both two different companies. So now we've got a bit of differentiation there. But yeah, we do murder mysteries as well.
Is that just like story night? Or?
It's like a dining event, so we act on it still. Still do a lot of acting, and they've got to kind of work out from the clues who did the crime, basically. So yeah, it's fun. it's fun.
And, like, I'm sure you encounter many people on tours who don't believe in supernatural presences.
Yep.
Like, to that, what, like, are you just like, okay, I don't care, or I don't know?
So, no, I think it's good to have different views, to be honest. We've all got our own beliefs. I never want to push someone else's belief away. We're always going to have people that believe, some that don't believe, a bit in between. And we're always fine with that, you know? So it's, I guess in a way they've come along for an experience, whether it's because they want to prove that ghosts don't exist in their own mind, or whether they want to prove themselves wrong. We're all open to any kind of beliefs that people have.